What is chaos and what is happiness? How do we attain happiness in such a chaotic world? To understand the answers to these questions, earlier today we've interviewed a philosopher, a public intellectual, and somebody who is oftenly known as the Futuristic Monk. But before we get to our interview, I would like to request you to subscribe to our channel, which is down below, because I'm Zain Khan, and this is live. Welcome to Zain Khan Live, where everything is discussed. Welcome to our show, Bruno Marion. This is Zain Khan. It's a pleasure to have you on our show.
Thank you, Zain. Thank you very much.
Bruno, you being a futurist, a philosopher, would you please let us know and explain to us what is happiness?
Well, I guess every major religion, philosophy, or even everybody has its own definition. And I would say I embrace most of them. And I can add my own definition. For me, happiness is the ability to design your own future. That is to say, like an artist, a painter, first you have a dream, and therefore you need a dream, and then to see unfolding this dream day after day, I would define that like a great happiness.
Okay, Bruno, but that leads us to our next question. Then what is chaos?
There are many definitions of chaos. For most people, this is a catastrophe, mess. And for science, chaos is a very different thing. Chaos is a status. What is a status? Like water. Water can have different status. Water can be liquid. Water can be a gas. Water can be solid, like ice. It's different status. And obviously, water will have different properties depending on this status. For a system, it can also have different status. What is a system? I am a system, you are a system, our country is a system, humankind is a system. A system can have different status. The first one is equilibrium. The system is balanced, nothing is moving. The second status is the system is oscillating. That is like if you push somebody on a swing or on a chair, the person will be like oscillating. This is the most common status for a system, to be balanced or oscillating, not too far from equilibrium. Chaos is what can happen after that. After what is called the tipping point, the system can go out of order. That is to say, it will not come back to the equilibrium. It will never come back to the equilibrium. And status can be defined when things are auto-amplifying. When everything is balanced, I could say, or oscillating, it's like a thermostat. In your room, if it's too cold, the thermostat will make sure you get some heat. And if it's too hot, it will stop the heating. Everything is under control. Chaos, it's out of control. It's like a crazy thermostat when and where everything is auto-amplifying. It's a crazy thermostat which makes it hotter even if it's already too hot. So chaos, I would say, if I would define it in the most simple way, is when things are auto-amplifying. When they are good, they get better. When they are bad, they get worse. Typically, in a system, economical system where everything is auto-amplifying, like I think we are today, the richer you are, the richer you get. The poorer you are, the poorer you get. Everything is auto-amplifying.
Bruno, I've always wondered about this question. In the age of wars and global uncertainty and the rise of nationalistic ethno-fascism, Brexit, building a wall, etc., how should the younger generation be able to attain happiness or just live normal lives?
But that's a very, very important question that drives my life. I've met thousands of people to understand how they do that, how they do go through crisis time and not only survive but thrive. I met religious leaders, spiritual leaders, special forces. And after all these meetings, I came to the conclusion that main things and that my main advice to young people is first, have a dream, have a vision. Have a vision for yourself, have a vision for your community, have a vision for the world, I would say. So my first advice is have a vision. And my second advice is have small routines, small process. Remember, when things is going chaotic, you cannot control. The thermostat is broken. Therefore, you cannot try to control. But what you can do is implement in your daily life small things that will help you to thrive in these chaotic times. Let me give you an example. One of my main examples to young people is learn to learn. Learn because things are changing every day, if not every hour in a chaotic world. Therefore, you need to learn. But not only you need to learn, you also need to unlearn, that is to forget. Because what you have learned yesterday or a year ago maybe is not true today. Learn to unlearn, and obviously learn to learn again. So my first advice is have a dream, then learn to learn, learn to unlearn, and learn to learn again. And I would add another advice, one of these routine check that you should apply to your daily routine is that make sure you know how to deal with an exponential amount of information, exponential amount of data. Make sure you can identify and learn how to identify real news, opposite to fake news. We are going to be surrounded by an amazing amount of information, including a lot of fake news. Make sure you know where your information is coming from. Have a dream. Make sure you have these small routines like learning to learn every day and forgetting what you have learned the day before. And make sure you have access to the right information. And maybe in this time of chaotic time, reading books is a good idea as well.
As a futurist, as a philosopher, what are the reasons behind this sudden surge of problems I've mentioned in my last question, like violent racism and discrimination, people hating other nations, other people just on the basis of difference of opinion, color of skin? Such hate mongering was not present in like the 90s. Why now? Why all this now?
I think it's coming mainly from the world being more chaotic and therefore auto-amplifying. I took the example like in this world, the richer you are, the richer you get. But this also applies to the way we think. So let's say if you have an opinion and I don't know, you get a lot of your information from Facebook, because you live in your own auto-amplifying bubble on Facebook. That is to say, Facebook algorithm is making sure you read what you like. So it's pushing information that you want to read. So if you are on the left, I don't know what is the left, but if you are on the left, you're going to be more and more on the left. If all your friends and what you're reading are on the right, you're going to become more and more on the right. Therefore, the way the information is auto-amplifying, typically because of this information bubble we are more and more in, you are becoming more and more extreme, and you may even become more extremist. So the world has become to this stage because it's an unprecedented time, I think, in human history. It has become chaotic, and that is the reason for your question, why everything is becoming so extreme, for three reasons. The first one is numbers. There have never been so many people on this planet. 150 years ago, there were approximately 1 billion people on the earth. Today, there are more than 7 billion, maybe more than 8 billion. If you look at the population on Earth, it's like an exponential. Humans are like a virus trying to occupy everywhere on this planet. First, numbers. There have never been so many people on this planet. The second reason why our world has become chaotic and why we are seeing all these extreme things happening, it's connection. We have never been so much connected. Since 2014, there are more mobile phones on this planet than human beings. Almost half of the world population is connected to internet. We are all connected. More people, more connected people, that is the perfect scenario for chaotic times. And I would add another reason is speed. Things are changing so fast that we don't have the time to adapt. So many people get lost. If you look at what's happening in the US with the election of Trump and whatever is happening after that, if you look at Brexit, people, at least one part of the population, they feel they are lost. They cannot keep up with all these changes. And I think that's one of the reasons why people get lost and why there are more and more extremes.
Okay, Bruno, let's get to our last question. In the current chaotic world and depression, obviously hopelessness is spreading globally. How do we deal with these problems, and also how do we help people heal from these traumas?
The only answer I have is to tell you how I do myself. I'm traveling a lot and I'm meeting many people. And the more you travel, the more suffering, I must tell you, you see in this world. And there are so much suffering in this world. So personally, what I am doing is first, I make sure I have a dream. So I wrote my dream a couple of years ago. Of course, I review this dream. It's changing every year, every month. And I'm reading my dream every day. So my advice to everybody, have a dream, read this dream every day. Have a dream for where you want to be yourself with your community in 20 years, in 1 year. Make sure you have a dream and read this dream every day. I think this is the only way to design your life. And the other thing I would like to add in this time where we are hopeless, like you just said, never give up, never give up. This is not the time of giving up. And I have good reason why you should not give up. The first reason is you never had so much power. In the previous world, where everything was balanced, close to equilibrium, to change things, you need to be very, very powerful. That is to say, you need to be the president of your country, the CEO of a very, very big company, being very, very rich, or many of you, so you can create a revolution. But in this day of chaotic time, because everything is auto-amplifying, as we have seen, a very single action can have tremendous effect. That is called, in chaos theories, the butterfly effect. The butterfly flipping in Paris, where I am today, can trigger a big storm in Brazil, for instance. You never had so much power. In this chaotic time, you have the power to change your life. You have the power to change your community's life and maybe the life for all human beings. So in order not to be depressed, in order to keep hope, have your dream, make sure you have a dream, read it every day, share it with your friends, and never give up. You never had so much power because this world has become chaotic.
Thank you so much, Bruno Marion, for joining us. It was fantastic to discuss all these topics with you.
Thank you.
This was Bruno Marion, a futuristic monk, a futurist, a philosopher, and author. We were discussing subjects on happiness, tragedy, chaos, and how to deal with these traumas. But before we get to the end of our show, I would like to request all the viewers to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is down below, because I'm Zain Khan, and this is live.